Okay, so we will be continuing with the left of part of our list inside Python. Okay, so we talk about nested list. This part was pending, and we talk about this copying list, shallow versus deep. We talk about both of them. Okay, so what is nested list? So you can call it like 2D list or 2-dimension list. Okay, so nested list is a list that contains other list as its elements, also called a 2D list of metrics. Very useful for tables, grids, game boards, etc. So if you um, really get any kind of data where you have a matrix like a style, like here you can see, or you have a grid style like data, so such cases 2D list logic comes up into the picture. And this is one of the example 3 by 3 matrix. So if you don't know what does it mean, a 3 by 3 here, three rows, 3 columns. So 3 by 3 means 3 rows, 3 columns. And just for your information, alongside of the recording of this Python, in few days you will be starting getting recording about maths. Okay, so you will be getting recordings on maths, where we will be discussing about multiple mathematical concepts, including some mathematical problems we will be solving, so that you can parallelly do the maths as well as the Python, because our main motto more towards the implementation, not towards the math, but we should know the maths, right? We should know a good amount of maths. So I will cover those maths too by writing with my hands in my screen, and I will show you different kind of mathematical things that you need to know to become an AI engineer. Okay, and those mathematical things can help you to crack your job. And why you need to know the maths, though you have Claude and ChatGPT. Since Claude and ChatGPT can write the maths for you, it's true, but you need to know the maths so that you can understand any algorithm. And in the interview, they will ask for maths only. Okay, that's how they will judge you. And after certain amount of experience, they will ask you questions from projects. Okay, so that's how we need to know all of them. So yeah, let's come back to the topic that is related to matrix. So right now you can see I have created one list, and inside list I have multiple lists. Like this is one list, this is another list, this is another list. So list inside the list that we call it as nested list. And why it is 3 by 3? It has 3 rows. If you see 1, 2, 3, and each row has 3 values. That means each row has 3 columns. That's why it's 3 by 3 matrix. Now how can we access that? Now accessing it is very easy. We just need to maintain the hierarchy. We already discussed about the hierarchy. I have matrix. So if I need to extract the first row, I will extract using simple 0. So this will give me the first row, because inside this list, this is the first element, this is the second element, this is the third element. So I got my first element. Now if I want the value 2, let's say, I'll simply do 1. Likewise, tell me if I need to extract 8, what I need to pass. Now to find 8, what I need to do, so what is the index of this one? First I need to extract this one, so this is the end one, that means it will be 2. Okay, I got the 2, through 2 I got the value, then I want 8 in 1th index, right? So I can get 8. This is how we can get 8. Same example showed here, top left, top right, center, bottom left, bottom right. Okay, and if you want, you can access an entire column using a loop also. And this is the list compression example. If I show you that also, that's what I am doing. I am running a loop. So for row in range 3, why 3 range I passed? Because I know my matrix has 3 values. So instead of hard coding 3, I can say len matrix. This will also give us the same value. Len matrix will give me 3, right? So for row in range 3, what it will give me? If I want, I can get matrix, then row. See, I am getting the answer. If I want, I can get values using list compression also. This is the one of the example of that. Okay, and this is all it is mentioned in this 9.1 example. Same thing. Okay, everyone. Now printing a 2D list as a grid. You can see I have a 2D list here where I have a matrix, and each has 4 values now. So I have 4 by 4 matrix now. Okay, And here I am showing a simple example of a nested loop, and I'll just execute this code because you guys should know the nested loop now. What I'm simply doing, I just explain this nested loop once for your understanding. Okay, so we have this matrix, okay, and now what I do, I simply copy paste this and explain how it works, why it works. Okay, so what I am doing for row in matrix, okay, for row in matrix I am printing nothing, okay, printing nothing and end with gap. Then what I think for a value in row, that means first I will come here, then I will print a space, then I will come here, then I run a loop for a value in row. That means now it will run through each of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, like it will keep on running for each of them. And then what I am doing, I am saying val colon 4 end. Okay, so what it is doing, after printing the value, it is giving a 4 times indentation. Okay, 4 time indentation here. And at the next line, once these things are printed, that means in first shot, once we have printed all the values 1, 2, 3, 4, once this loop run is done, then it's executing this loop, this line, and in this line print, right, print, um, if you only call print, it has a thing called end. If you see in the screen, end is coming backslash n, you know backslash n means new line. So whenever you call only print by default, it will send the cursor to the new line. Because of that, now 5, 6, 7, 8 got printed in the next line, because here I am saying print nothing. That means by default end is new line. So if this line get executed after completing this line, it will send the cursor to the new line, and after that again it will go to the another row like 5, 6, 7, 8, then it will run each of the rows, like first 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, and then it will print all the values. And this is how it is printing this one. So this is same example shown here, and I am here showing you the rows and the columns. Okay, I am calculating the rows and the columns using length. Now another example, a real world example using students marks table. Okay, so I have each inner list. So inner list matlab this list they are talking about. I have values name, math score, science score, English score. So this is RF, which math score was 85, then 92, then 78. This is for Vapna, this is for Chira, this is for Deepika, this is for Isha. Okay, and these are the subjects I have: math, science, English. So what I am doing simple, I am printing something name. Okay, if I execute first, then I'll show you. Better to show you that way. See, this is how it is coming. I'm just beautifying the output, nothing much. Okay, so let me just show you line by line for your better understanding here. Okay, so if I print name like this, you see it has created name, it has created this space. See, this is the space it got created. Okay, after that what you are doing, we are running the loop, simple loop we are running for subject in subjects. That means for learning loop on this, so first maths will be printed, then science will be printed, then English will be printed, and each of them will be greater than 10 indentation. If I show you, see, this is the indentation for each of them. Okay, this is the indentation it got created for maths, science and English. Okay, now what I want to print all their values. And to print all the values, what I need to do, I need to simply print the command total, again gap, average, again gap. If you execute this code, see, it just created total, okay, with 10 gap, it just created average with 8 gap. Okay, see, this gap is lesser than this gap. Why? Because my value is 10 here and my value is 8 here, that's why. Okay, I have prepared everything, right? This is the name. Okay, then I have maths, then I have science, English, and this is the space, then total, then average. Okay, then what I am doing, I am simply running a loop, nothing else I am doing here. I am simply running a loop. If I show you, see, I'm running a loop for record in records. So this is my records, right? And so each record will contain each of the list, this list, this list, this list, like that. So then using indexing I can get the name. So 0, that means first record contain the name, then marks 1 colon. See, 1 colon means what? Starts from here, go till the end. So these are the numbers that I got. So marks will contain those elements. Then total, I can do some marks. So I can do total of all them one at a time. So I can get the total, and by this is the formula which you can get the average. So this value can give me the average. Then what I am doing is simply printing the name, and I am jumping through the marks, because you know, right, this marks will be like a list. So I can run on top of them, and then I can simply print them for a beautified manner. Then I am printing the total. If I execute this code, you will get the answer like that. So this is the name, it got printed with this 12 indentation, that's why I got this much indentation from that. Okay, then we looped each on the marks, and then what we did, we simply printed the marks with a 10 gap from each of them. Okay, and then at the end we have printed total and the average, where total difference is 10 and average difference is 7.1 as shown here. So this is how you can beautify if you want your data like this one. Okay, so let's talk about copying lists, shallow versus deep. And this section covers one of the most Python's important topics and confusing concept. So shallow copy and deep copy is one of the popular interview questions also, and one of the popular topic to study also inside Python. So the core problem, what is the core problem? When you write b equals to a, you don't get a copy. You get a second name for the same list. Changing one changes the other. I'll just explain through a way. So now let's say just showing you this. Okay, this is the aliasing problem. I'll discuss what is aliasing problem. Now let's see, you have a list called original, and this list has values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Great. I created another variable called alias, and I have what I did, alias equal to original. Simple. So what is the value of alias now? Same like original. So tell me guys, do you think original, like whatever values are there inside original, same copied by alias? Okay, but is this alias has created a new memory inside a Python, or it is not? So is this alias directly connecting with the original, or it has created a new memory where alias value become 10, 20, 30, 40? What do you think? That means if alias has created a new memory inside Python and it has values 10, 20, 30, 40, then if I make any changes inside original, should not reflect inside alias. And if alias has not created any new memory inside Python, it is referring to the same memory where this original value stored, then if I make any changes inside original, that should reflect into the alias, right? Like if I change something inside original, like the value 0, so what is the 0th value for original? 10. I am saying replace it with 999. Great. Now you can see original value become new one now. See, I got 999 here. But let's see what about alias. I got 999 here. See, it has changed it. Why it has changed it? Because alias did not create a new memory for this value. It has connected, or it was connecting with the same memory where this value was stored inside Python. Okay, and this is same example I have discussed here. Okay, same example. Both changed because they are same object. Since this was an object that I created, and simply I did alias equal to original. Okay, but that alias was referring to the same object. It you can see by running the code that okay, I can see the values, but this alias was trying to connect to the same object where this value was stored inside Python memory. It did not create anything for itself. It is connecting with this memory only, which is the value of original. Okay. Now this we call it as deep copy. This we call it as deep copy. Okay. And now next example of shallow copy. So now let's say you don't want that. You are saying no, I don't want that. If you make any changes inside my original list, it should not reflect to my alias list. Now if you want to do that, you need to use a method called copy. If you say copy1 equals to original dot copy now, and now copy1 will contain the same value. See, copy1, no problem. So now if I make any changes inside original, 0 equals to 0909, and if we see it like that, now original I am getting the value here, and if I check the copy1 now, see, now it is not changing because now it has created a new memory inside Python, and now it is not pointing to the same memory location. It has created this new memory. This is called shallow copy, and this is one of the way how you can do shallow copy. The another one you can do like this slicing. You know, right? If you give only colon, it will take all the values because you are not saying the starting, you are not saying the ending. So it will take all the values. Or you can call another way called list using constructor. You can do this way also if you want to do shallow copy, or you can do this way with empty list. If you want to copy like this, you can do shallow copy like this. So these are the ways how you can do the shallow copy, and this is the scenario when deep copy happens. Okay, now we'll talk about tuples. So we are good with list now. Now we talk about tuples inside Python. So there are few table of contents mentioned here. What is a tuple, creating tuple, accessing elements and all. Since we know list now very well, so learning tuple will not take much time for all of us, and we will complete it so faster manner. So what is a tuple? A tuple is an ordered immutable collection of items in Python. Again, ordered means items have a fixed position. You know already, same as list. Immutable, which is not same as list. List was mutable and tuple is immutable. That means once created you cannot change, add or remove items. We will see in the practical examples. Allows duplicates. Same value can appear more than once. So tuple allows duplicates. Heterogeneous. That means what? It can hold items of different data types. Like list, same example. Okay. And there is a difference between tuple and list. So this is how we define list using these square brackets, and it is immutable. That means we can change after creation. This is the tuple which we use parenthesis. Now this is immutable, locked after creation. Once defined, we cannot change it. And when tuples are used in real life, you really need to know that. These are the situations like storing coordinates, like your latitude and longitude. You define with these values, right? Then RGB colors, right? RGB. Then date and time you define like this. Then database records you define like this. Multiple return values you define like this. Dictionary keys you define like this. Now what is dictionary keys we will discuss. For now, let's not think about so much. Okay. Now let's talk about creating tuples. So there are multiple ways how you can create one tuple. Like list, I will show you. Now I'm not going to write code for tuple anymore because you guys now know about list. So I don't think I have to write any codes for tuple anymore. Okay. So now example, creating tuples with parentheses. So if you really need to create an empty tuple, just give an empty parenthesis, and this is how your empty tuple will look like. And by calling type empty, you can see what is the type of your variable. You can see again this code may take some seconds since it is connecting with the server, and I will close this above tabs. Okay, yeah, see, this is the empty tuple and this is the class tuple. Okay, then tuple of integers. So you can see again inside parentheses you have defined the numbers. This is the tuple. Tuple is string. Again inside tuple I have defined all the days mentioned here. Like as I said, tuple is heterogeneous like list. That's why it can contain multiple data types. Array of 21, computer science 8.7 true. So boolean, string, integer, float, everything is there. Then it can contain coordinates like this also shown here, and below we have printed all of them. Okay. Now another thing, the single element tuple, common beginner mistake. So let's say if you want to define one single element inside tuple, and you think, okay, if I really need to define one single element, what I do, I will do 42. Like let's say 42 I want to store inside my tuple. It is a single value. I pass 42 like this, or I try to pass hello like this. And if you execute the code, it will not work. Though this code will work, code will not throw any error. This is wrong. This is just an integer in parenthesis, not a tuple. Same, this is also wrong. Same issue with strings. See, if you defined tuple like this 42 inside parenthesis, you may think, okay, I did not get any error, it means it is a tuple. No. See, what is the type it is saying? Integer. Value 42. Even for hello, see, what it is saying, it is string. It is not treating this or this as tuple. It is treat this one as a integer, this one as a string. Now, if you really need to define single element inside your tuple, you need to treat it like this: 42, comma, hello, comma. If you want to define single element, you need to define it like this. But the comma is what makes it a tuple. If you do not give a comma, it will not take it. Okay. See, this is the tuple. Okay. And again, this is another thing, is instance. Same I discussed in the previous days. Each instance can help you to understand which data type or which data structure your variable belongs to. Like here I have single integer. Okay, this was the variable, and we know that this is tuple. I'm just checking this is tuple or not. I have for not a tuple, so not a tuple was this value, where I had this 42 like this. I'm trying to check, is it also tuple, and you can see the answer. This one came true, so that means this is tuple. That means this is tuple. But for this 42 I got false. Why? Because this is not a tuple. Okay. Now next, creating tuples without parentheses. Tuple packing. So we can create tuples even without parentheses. Okay. So how we can create that? See, I am giving point one variable equal to 10, 20. RGB equal to 255 128 0. Then person Priya 25 Delhi. If I check the type of all of them, now see, these all are tuples. All tuples. So if you do not give brackets even now, if you just pass commas with one single variable, it will treat it as tuple. So the comma creates the tuple, not the parenthesis. Parenthesis just improve the readability. So if you see, the tuple uses parenthesis, that is true, but parenthesis just improve the readability. Okay, comma creates the tuple. Comma is the main thing inside tuple. Parenthesis is just for the readability. Now another thing that we can see, that is example of 2.4, creating tuples from other sequence using tuple. Again, you know, right, using list constructor we can create list. Likewise, we have a list here, right? My list containing values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now if I want, I can call something called tuple, which is a Python's inbuilt thing tuple, and then my list. If I call it like that, it will convert this list into tuple. If I execute, I will show you. So it has converted this into tuple. Same example, you guys can recall when we did list. If I pass any string inside list constructor or tuple constructor, it will convert that into a tuple here like this. It will pick each and every character or each and every alphabet, and it will convert them into string like this. And same for range. Same example. If you call list, you will get values like this, and if you call tuple, you will get values like this. Same thing. Same like a list here. Again, you can see here 0 comma multiplied by 5. Again, this means empty tuple, not empty tuple. So this means single element tuple, and multiplying by 5 means what? Repeat 0 5 times inside a tuple, and it has repeated 0 5 times inside a tuple. Likewise, repeat this dash 8 times inside a tuple, and this is what repeating dash 8 times inside a tuple. Okay. Same example, same thing. Now accessing elements, again same, this is exactly same like list indexing. 0 1 2 3 4 from the positive side, minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4 from negative side. Like you can see here, again I will not explain this section because you guys now know it, so I will not explain this section. If you want, you can just click on the notebook and just see it. Okay, I hope you guys have not forgotten this section. Okay, you guys can check it. Okay, and this is the same example, accessing fields in a record tuple. So you have a record like the student Rahul 20, computer science 9.1 Mumbai. If you want to extract student record, you can extract like this. Student 0 means Rahul, student 1 means 20, student 2 means computer science, student 3 means 9.1, student 4 means Mumbai. So this is how you can get the student record. And this is same for the indexing, same for this product data also. 0 contains the laptop, 1 contains Dell, 2 contains 75,000, 3 contains 15. Same example indexing here like we discussed on list. Okay, now index error, what happens when you go out of range? Like you can see I have something called colors, values red, green, blue. Okay, so what is the color 0 value? Red. What is the colors 2 value? Blue. What is the colors minus 1 value? Blue. No problem. But if I try to get colors 5, what will happen? Since 5 index does not exist inside my colors tuple, I will get an error. Index error, tuple index out of range. If I pass any index value which does not exist inside my tuple, I will get an error called index error. Now we'll talk about the slicing tuples. Again, same thing. You have to pass the starting index, you have to pass the stopping index, and you need to pass the jump or step value. Same I discussed in the list case. Okay, start index to begin with inclusive default 0, stop index to end at exclusive default end. Exclusive, why you guys know now, it always subtract 1 from the end index, that's why it is exclusive. And now step means how many indexes to jump, it will tell you that. Okay, so again same example shown here, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, like this. And this is the indexing or slicing I am showing you here. This is how we do slicing. If you call 0:3, what you get? Jan 0, Feb 1, March 2. Since it always subtract 1 from the end index, I get values only till March. Likewise for 3:6, starts from April 3, May 4, June 5. It will give you only 3 values, April, May, June. Same for Q3, same for Q4. And this is the same example showing you slicing inside tuple. Same example guys. I don't think I have to teach you slicing now. You guys now know how to do slicing. We did a detailed discussion on list, right? So I am not going to teach you slicing anymore. You guys just can go through the notebook to understand slicing. Okay, same example, slicing with step. You guys should know it now. Even negative slicing also you got to know now. You guys can go through it. Okay, all right. Now tuple immutability, which is the new thing that we need to know. Tuple immutability. So immutability means what? Immutability is the defining feature of tuples. Once created, you cannot change an element, add a new element, remove an element, rearrange element. You cannot do any one of them. This is both a restriction and a feature. It guarantees that the data stays safe and unchanged. So by mistake, if you call any method, right, it will not create changes inside your tuple, which is a good thing. Okay, so think of a tuple like a sealed envelope. Once sealed, you can read what's inside, but you can't change it. Okay, so just for example here, I am showing you with my own hands. So let's say values like the coordinates 28.61, 77.20, and you know, right, how to extract this value. I mean how to extract the first value. Just call co.ds first value. If I call like this, I'll get my first value. Okay, so it is taking a bit time to get executed. I don't know why, sometimes it happens. So you can see the coordinates values I have here 28.61, 77.20, and coordinate 0 gives us the value 28.61. Okay, so now if I want to change it, I am saying I want a value 23.12. Do you think it will work? Do you think it will work, guys? In list we have done that already, but do you think it will happen for this one? No, it will not happen, because we know that this is a tuple which is immutable. Since it is immutable, we cannot change it. I try it, it will say tuple object does not support item assignment. Like, it cannot support item assignment. Why it cannot support? Because this is immutable. I cannot make any changes on it. Okay, same shown here. Likewise, let's say I want to delete this one. I want to delete this URLDS 0. It will not allow me to do this also. I don't know why it is taking a lot of time to execute. Yeah, see, it is saying tuple does not support item deletion. Since it is a tuple, you cannot delete it. Even you cannot delete its element also. It is restricted, and it is a good thing. If you see, by any chance, if someone executing this kind of commands, it's better not to allow them to do that. Okay, so that's the example that it is. This is immutable. Okay, great. Now this is the another example that I wanted to show you. So this is an example where I have a record where I have name Alice. Again, this is a tuple only. You can see the parenthesis. Now in my tuple I have one thing called name, which is a string, comma, one list. So inside tuple I have list. Okay. Now tell me, guys, if I call record 1, I'll get the list, because this is the second element inside my tuple. And now if I want to make changes inside this list, will I be able to do that? This is a list that I extracted from my tuple. Now if I want to make any changes inside this list, will I be able to do that? What do you think? I can, right? So I can do 0 equals to 12, and it will happen. See, 12 coming here. I am able to make changes inside my list, because this is alone a list, and we know the list is mutable. Though it is inside a tuple, but this is as a single item, it is a list, and I am making changes inside a list, not inside a tuple, right? That's why you can make changes inside it. Okay, this is what I have shown here as an example. You guys can check it out. Okay, now modifying a tuple by creating a new one. You can't change a tuple, but you can create a new one. So let's say what I am doing, I'll just show you here by copying and pasting this code. I'll first delete this unnecessary codes that I just created. Delete, yes, delete, yes. Now I'll show you this. Just a sec. Just missed it. So I have something called original as values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and I am creating, and I am ID. If I call ID, you know, right? ID gives you what is the ID where that tuple stored. This is the ID of the tuple that's stored. Okay. And now if I want to update means what? I want to create a new tuple. Again, since tuple is mutable, I cannot make changes inside it, but I can reuse it to create a new tuple. So what I am doing, I am calling original colon 2. That means I am picking these two values 10 and 20. Then plus 99, which is a single element tuple. Then plus original 3 colon. That means what? 0, 1, 2. That means 40 and 50. Okay, I am creating a new tuple called updated using this first elements and using this end elements. And now if you check, this is the new tuple that created updated tuple, and inside this updated tuple, if you see the ID, are they same? Are they same, guys? What do you think? They are not same. Since I cannot make any changes inside tuple, but I can create a new one using them, and that will be a different tuple, that will not be the same tuple. Okay, I hope this part is also clear to you everyone. Now let's discuss about tuple operations. So this is something we need to know about. Like I have something called morning, has values like tea, toast, eggs. I have evening, values like rice, dal, roti. If I need to concat two tuples, right, I can simply do a plus operator, morning plus evening, full menu. So full menu will be the new variable which will contain all these tuples together. If I execute this code, you can see. So this is the full menu where tea, toast, eggs, rice, dal, roti are together. I just use this plus command which has created this two tuples. Okay. Next, you can also concat tuples of different contents. So you have a tuple like this where you have two values. You have tuple like this where you have one value. You have tuple like this where you have three values. If you want, you can concat them to using plus operator. You can see the same output. So if you want, you can concat tuples like this. Repetition. So repetition same like using star. You can do the repetition. How we did for list previously. If you want to if you want to repeat this three data three times, just multiply that variable with 3. See, it has repeated 3 times. 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. It just repeated 3 times. Okay. Then row of zeros. If you want to repeat zeros 8 times, you can multiply that. Likewise, if you want to print this pattern 4 times, you can print it like that. So this is one of the example how you can repeat something inside tuple. Then membership operator. Again, I will not explain membership operator, same like list I discussed, in and not in. You guys can explore this one by yourself. Okay, this is same as list, exactly same as list. You guys can explore. Now, built-in operators, length, minimum, maximum, sum, sorted. Same like list, exactly same like list. You guys know it now, so I will not explain this one also. Now, comparing tuples. Same guys, what would be different than it? Nothing, same. Less than, greater than, if you want to do equal to check, you can do the same way. Same example, I'm not going to explain it again. You guys now know it. How to compare tuples. Like we used to compare in list, you can compare tuple. Okay. Now iterating over tuples. How to run a for loop, how to run a while loop, how to run enumerate, how to run zip. This all we discussed inside list. You can see one example. I have continents like Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Australia, and this is a run a list. I run loop on top of a tuple for continent in continents, print continent. Same like list. Same example using enumerate. You guys know it, enumerate. Now I have taught it very well in the list section. You guys know the thing now. Same zip also you guys know. Using zip we can run multiple tuples together. If I want to run a loop with multiple tuples or multiple lists or multiple elements together, I can use zip. And you guys know how to use zip now. I discussed in the previous session. While loop, same thing. We know about while loop now. And same on 2D data. So today only I showed you the 2D data on list by running a for loop. Same like tuple. So 80% things will be same like list. So we don't have to actually learn much things here. But still I'll discuss few things like unpacking and packing inside tuple, which is a very important topic. So what is packing? Packing means combining values into a tuple, and unpacking means extracting tuple values into individual variables. You can see I have something called point, which is a new variable, and it has values like 10, 20, 30. And since you know about tuple now, if I do not give any parenthesis also,
but if I really pass the values with comma as a separator, I'll get a tuple. Good. Likewise, if I now do x comma y comma z, now this is the packing example. Packing multiple values one tuple. This is the packing example. Now this is the unpacking example where one tuple equals to multiple variables. Your tuple has three values, so each value can have one variable, right? So I have three variables x comma y comma z equal to point. And what is the value of point? 10, 20, 30. So x value will be 10, y value will be 20, z value will be 30. This is called unpacking. So we had a tuple where we have multiple values together. This is a tuple, and extracting single elements from each of them called as unpacking. See, x equals to 10, y equals to 20, z equals to 30. Okay, same example here. I have name, age, city, where I have Ananya 22 Bangalore. Okay, and now I am unpacking that. How I am unpacking? Date equals to 2024 12 25. Then what I am calling year comma month comma day equals to date. So year will be 2024, month will be 12, and day will be 25, as shown here. Okay. Now swapping variables using tuple unpacking. Like let's say you have a equals to 100, b equals to 200. Okay. What you can, if you want to swap values, like let's say you want b value should go into a value should go into b value. You just need to do a comma b equals to b comma a. So a's value will be b's value, b's value will be a's value. If you want to do things like that, you can do like this: a comma b equals to b comma a. So it will be 200 comma 100. Okay, this is how you can swap for three values: x comma y comma z equals to 1 2 3. What you can do, x comma y comma z equals to z comma x comma y. So x value will be z value, y value will be x value, z value will be y value. So this is how you can swap values if you want to. You can see now a value become 200, b value become 100, x value become 3, y value become 1, and z value become 2.